You probably already know this game. If you don't, well, it's Genshin Impact. Now I don't really play it anymore, but back then it was a huge part of my life. And I still love the lore, the characters, and the world building, but that's not what we're here for today. Today we're combining Genshin with one of my favorite gaming genres, MOBA. That's right, this is What If Genshin Impact was a MOBA. Let's start with what makes Genshin, well, Genshin. Elemental reactions. If you've played the game, you already know what these are. But for the uninitiated, here's a rapid fire rundown. Vaporize, overload, melt, burning, swirl, electrocharge, superconduct, frozen, bloom, quicken, spread, aggravate, burgeon, hyperbloom, and crystallize. These reactions are core to combat, and they scale with elemental mastery and elemental power, of course. There's also a hidden layer to them. Elemental reactions are either amplifying or transformative. Amplifying, which only consists of vaporize and melt, boosts existing damage, while transformative, like overload or electrocharge, deals new, separated damage. Now, why does this matter in a MOBA context? Because this gives us a unique system where damage types aren't just physical or magical. Now let's look at stats. In Genshin, characters already have distinct stats and elements. So how do we translate this to a MOBA format? Here's the idea. Your attack will be your basic attack damage, as well as modifiers for some skills, since a lot of elemental skills are scaled based on attack, but some will be balanced with elemental mastery. Mostly supports. This way both attack and EM can coexist in harmony. If your DPS wants better reaction damage, build EM. If you want more standalone damage, build attack. Now of course some scale off HP or def, but that's easy to balance. Hopefully not as hard as the other game at least. Now let's talk about items, because no MOBA is complete without them. I've got a few possible systems in mind, and I want you guys to decide what sounds better. Option 1 would be artifacts as items. Artifacts come with RNG stats and set bonuses. This would create a really unique power spike system, but is RNG in a MOBA really a good idea? Imagine gambling for a crit rate roll mid-match. Option 2 would be using weapons as item trees. Use the massive arsenal of 3 stars, 4 star, and 5 star weapons. You build them progressively like item trees in Dota or League, and every weapon has a passive or active just like Mythics or Dota legendaries. Or option 3, we combine both. Mix and match weapons and artifacts. Maybe your final item is a 5-star catalyst build from a lower tier weapon plus a domain style artifact. This gives depth and flexibility and flavor. Now keep in mind that this doesn't even include boots, potions, wards, or consumable yet. We're just scratching the surface. Now let's look at the map control and jungle camps. This is where things get interesting. Genshin has a ton of elite bosses and open world creatures. Why not turn them into jungle camps and objectives? You can have Azdaha as your Roshan or Baron Nashor. World bosses like Wolf of the North or Storm Terror could act as lane specific buffs or global threats. Elemental hypotheses could guard mini buffs like red buff or blue buff in League. You'd have to coordinate, fight for control, and contest bosses just like in any other MOBA. Now let's get to the last but fun part. Let's imagine how some characters might play in this MOBA world. Let's imagine a bot lane duo. I imagine Kokomi and maybe Yoimiya. An AoE healing and vaporize combos. Constant poke and sustain like Soraka Jin on steroids. Or maybe top lane, Zhongli versus Ito. One's a tanky shield god with a giant meteor, and the other is a pure stat check bruiser with raw damage. Or maybe a mid lane fight like Ganyu's long range poke and freeze, or maybe Fischl's Oz zoning tool. Of course, I'm not gonna create a full MOBA kit for every single Genshin character, unless you want me to, but that's for another video. And so that's it for today. Just a little fun thought experiment. What if Genshin Impact was a MOBA? Let me know down below if you want me to make a full MOBA kit for your favorite Genshin characters, and what kind of item system would you prefer? And with that, I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.